The 1420 Sports Bar Podcast, for Beer Sports, talking a whole lot more. Dave, over the weekend, I took the time. You brought it up a while ago to catch the Manti Te'o documentary that's on Netflix. So I found it. I'm not what?
Hey.
Yeah,
You watched that document. Did you watch anything else this weekend?
there
I
was a
have
couple. There was a couple things that I watched. I don't that
I
you know.
I have a feeling that you're trying to skip over some baseball this episode, and I'm really can't in all consciousness let you skip over
All right,
what
if you
happened.
want to chat about it, we can chat about it. Yeah, 100%.
I think it'd be a disservice to our
I
listeners.
thought it was great that the Philadelphia Phillies are ended up in the World Series again for the first time since 2009. I thought it was a nice, touching story. I'm not sure why the Padres didn't use the big reliever Josh Hader that they got from the Milwaukee Brewers to San Diego in the eighth inning yesterday. Other than that, I don't think a whole bunch went on in the world of baseball. Really, to be honest with you,
Well,
fuck
here
off.
I got a question to you. I
Okay,
got a question for you. If it's in a 4 game set and one team strikes out 52 times, is that analytics gone wrong or is that bad management? Like I read it. I don't know
okay.
where and who.
I think that the way that team is constructed and the way that they are told and their home runner bust mentality, I think that there's something broken. And we're talking about the New York Yankees, obviously. I think that there is a lot broken with that franchise right now, and I can't say that because it's not analytics; it's how analytics are approached. Because every team uses analytics a lot. The Houston Astros use them a lot. I think that their nerds are just better than the Yankees nerds.
In that regard, and I didn't watch a lot of the game. I actually listened to it on radio, which we mentioned how
Yeah.
pleasant it is to listen to on the radio. I always manage to find the Yankees stream, which is kind of funny. The guy and the girl, who are they? They're
John
clearly
and Susan,
yeah,
John
they're so New
Sterling
Yorker.
and Susan Waldman. They're older than the two of us combined,
They're
but
entertaining
they're
as
good. I
hell,
like them. No.
and they are so critical of the Yankees when they drop fly balls, when they make throwing errors. Like they're old school. They're
Oh yeah,
so
they
bad at
they're
that.
they're errors and this and that. Like they don't care about exit velocity. They don't care about this and that and the other thing. No, they're great to listen to. They like they it's wins, losses, ERAs, errors, balls, hits, strikes. Yeah, that they're
Those
great
two
to listen
are
to.
old school,
Yeah,
and they don't have a problem being a little bit pissy at the home team
yeah.
when they're doing things wrong. The other thing, like we mentioned, the Yankees striking out so much, and well, that's just the way you do things now because you want to bang on those runs. I noticed, and this isn't rubbing it in, the Astros play the way their approach at the plate is the way you and I like baseball being played.
Yeah.
Put the ball in play, move the
Anything,
runners
anything.
along.
Well, look
And
what
there was
happened in the seventh inning last night. It should have been double play ball. Gleyber Torres flipped it over to IKF. IKF wasn't near the base, so the flip wasn't great. It should have been a double play out of the inning. Tied the game up. Next thing you know, it's over and the Yankee season's done. The Yankees were never going to win that series, in my opinion, but it should never have been a sweep. But the ball gets put in play, and anything could happen because if you put that little white object in people's hands, and the more people who have to handle it, the bigger chance there is that someone's going to screw up. That's what human beings do. And the Yankees in I think it was game 2, they scored a couple of runs on an error. And actually they got two runs that game, and both were unearned because they put the ball in play. Yes, it was just a slap back from Stanton to the pitcher's mound. He screwed it up, and then they scored a couple of runs because of it. If you put the ball in play, you get base runners, and base runners can make things happen because you get guys who are going to have to either it changes where the shift dynamic is. You can get a runner here, you can bunt there. Things can happen a lot more than if you strike out. If you strike out 17 times, you are going to lose the baseball game. And that's just that's just simple. I mean, not every time. Obviously, you could hit two 1-run home runs, and then your pitcher throws a masterpiece. But that doesn't happen very often. You have to get people on base, and hitting the ball, and the Yankees don't do it. And I don't know why, and where the mentality came from, and why it became their thing. And because if they get guys who don't hit for contact, which it can't be just a coincidence. You know what I mean? It can't be just a coincidence that every person who comes and plays for the Yankees ends up striking out, having career years in strikeouts. It can't be a coincidence.
Well, and that's the thing, and we've talked about it before in previous episodes. The Yankee built this lineup on just having mashers come to the plate, and mashers are cool, and they put asses in the seats, but it's going to win you 90 to 100 games because you're going to see a lot of shitty pitching over the course of 162. When you get to the playoffs, you're not going to see as much shitty pitching. You're not going to see as much shitty fielding play. And I think the Astros thumped them by playing a little bit more old school, put the ball in play. Yep. And then baseball in general, like with wanting all these mashers there, we need his bat in the lineup. We don't care what he's like in the field. We don't care what he's like in the field. Judge and Bader, who's the center fielder for the Yankees?
Yeah, Harrison Bader. That was a fuck up.
Well, and there was 3 or 4 of them pop flies.
Yeah,
like that.
Down left field. Hicks had one. There was it wasn't good. No, it was. They didn't play fundamental baseball, and that's why they're on the outside looking in now, and it's terrible.
It is. It's and we know that I cheer against the Yankees and the Red Sox and a couple other teams, but I don't feel bad for them at all. They didn't deserve to win. They got up there and swung from their heels every single pitch. And they didn't play decent, like they didn't even play passable defense in the field. And you don't deserve to win if you're not going to play fundamental baseball. You just simply don't. The Astros are by far and away the better team. Never mind, and we won't even touch on the Yankees bullpen. Fuck. And you have I blame about that.
I didn't think they were going to beat Houston because Houston's a superior team, and Houston's kind of owned the Yankees since 2015. In the playoffs, so I'm not surprised at the outcome. I'm surprised the Yankees didn't win 1 or 2 games. I didn't expect them to win the series, but I didn't. Last night was all said and done. I didn't scream and shout and throw anything. I just quietly took my jersey off and hung it up and took my hat off and put it away and call it good for another season because they're flat out just not good enough. And that's all it is. Like they're just not good enough at the way they're constructed at this moment. They're just
I felt bad for you guys. I thought Mother Nature was going to make you wait another day with the rain out.
Yeah. Jesus.
Wait.
But they played 9 games. It took 2 months. It felt like this playoff stretch has just been terrible.
Well, when you, John, and I recorded, it was last Wednesday, so at least they ripped that Band-Aid off pretty quick for you guys. They didn't. You guys both predicted 7 games for the Yankees. I gave them 5. And, you can't really blame Jerry Cole on this one. He did give up his early home runs. But
no, I'm putting a lot of this on Boone. I'm putting a lot of this on Cashman. I don't like the way they handle their bullpen. But like you have the arms or you don't. But at the end of the day, pitchers still get guys out a lot in comparison to base hits. And I like it doesn't matter there's not many guys who hit 3 out of 10 times, let alone 4 out of 10 times throughout baseball. And I put a lot of this on the handling the bullpen with Boone in game 1 and the like. It wasn't good. There's got to be a sit down with the Steinbrenners and the investors, everybody else, with how this team's run. Because right now they're a long ways away from getting past. And that's the thing. The Astros are good. Take away the 17 thing. We talk about that ad nauseum. Like you can forget, whatever. The Astros are just a better team right now. And to get over that hump, to get to the World Series, which has been a long time in Yankee land, to get to that point, you still have to get by the Astros. And as it's constructed now, they aren't going to be there. And the Yankees spent a lot of money to get no results. And I think you're going to get to a point where Steinbrenner is going to say, listen, I spent $1 billion plus in salary over this many years, and we haven't done anything. Like, that's a lot of dough. Like, yes, they're making money. I get it. But $1 billion is still $1 billion, right? For salary.
Because they want rings. Yankee fan wants rings.
They want rings, and it's a bit of a selfish thing, and I don't. Winning is tough. Like, winning it's hard to do in any sport, no matter what. It is really hard to do. But when you are spending that much money year after year, I mean, the Dodgers are the same way, right? The Dodgers have one fake, not a fake one, but a asterisk World Series, right? With the COVID one that they got, they spent a lot of money every year too. And yes, they do pack the place, and yes, they do well, but you want rings. And that's the Yankees are a team right now that are not in a situation where they're going to be winning next year, because right now they don't have a first baseman. They don't have it. They're trading their second baseman. They don't. If you don't have a shortstop, a left fielder, and you don't know who your closer is going into the ALCS, you're in trouble. And they didn't have any of those things,
right?
And they were changing their lineup. And when you're at that stage of the season, you change your lineup in June, and you tinker with it and everything else. When you're changing your lineup in Game 4 of the ALCS, you're fucked.
And I would like to know because change has to happen, but it's not like you can wave a magic wand, right? This is the way that management has decided to construct this lineup.
Yeah.
And when you put together all these mashers, like, no, we're gonna do something different. We're gonna go back to basics. We're gonna do a little bit of small ball. We're gonna be advancing renters. We're gonna buy outs. We're gonna find outs. And all these guys is like, fuck, didn't you see? We just striked out 52 fucking times in 4 games, man.
Yeah.
Like so now you want me to bunt and put
a little
the
late
hit
now.
and run on? Yeah, like you can't do that. You want me to play defense? I'm not here to play defense. I made it clear I couldn't catch a pop fucking fly when I got here, and you told me don't worry about it. You're here to mash.
Yeah, going out and getting the president of Josh Donaldson fan club, Josh Donaldson, was a huge mistake on Cashman's part.
God, did he have one good at bat?
He'll tell you he did. That cocksucker.
I saw him strike out and look bad.
That cocksucker on, I think it was Saturday night. Yeah, it was Saturday. He grounded out or popped up or whatever it is, and he come to the dugout in this, I think it was the 7th inning, with a smirk on his face. There's nothing to smile about, man. You're hitting 120 fucking 2 or whatever it was, and you're smirking at the bench. Like, he was a hell of a player with the Jays in 2015. That's a long time ago.
Like, it is a bit ago. Yeah.
There's a reason why I'm a person of your talent and everything else has been traded. Not just signed by other teams, traded this many times.
Get gone.
It's time to go, right?
He never finishes the contract.
Like, there's a reason why he gets traded before this guy. He was an Oakland A, yes, they can't afford. Then he was a Jay, gone. Then he was an Atlanta Brave, gone. The Minnesota Twins, gone. Now he's a Yankee. And there's a reason why guys like that don't, like, he's a cancer. Like, I think, I don't know. I don't follow. I'm not Yankee boy like that. I don't follow the ins and outs of Yankee land. I don't go on the blog chats or whatever they're called. But to me, that guy is a cancer in the dressing room. And like that smirking that he was doing on Saturday night, I couldn't believe it.
What's more important for the Yankees? Signing Judge long term or getting rid of Aaron Boone? What's more important? I'm not saying both can't happen. But what's more important, getting rid of Boone or getting rid of or signing?
I was 100% certain not that long ago that they were going to sign Judge. I thought for sure that it was they need him, he needs them. But I do think that, man, they got so much money tied up and they're so far gone. And every year, and this is shitty to say, every single year since he's been in the big leagues with 2017, yes, they've made the playoffs, wild card games, the COVID thing. He has struggled a lot. And I think that the Yankees and the Steinbrenners and the Cashmans, if Cashman, because he's pretty much out of a contract right now as well. I think that you might see Judge. They're going to use his playoff performance of this year and years gone by as a bargaining tool to not get him back. I think they're going to use what happened. Yes, he hit 62 home runs, but you don't win championships. You can lose championships in April, but you don't win them in April. And I think that the Steinbrenners are going to find a way to use this, another playoff failure, which isn't Judge's fault by himself, but he went 1 for 16 in the ALCS. I think they're going to use this to lowball offer him. I really do, because they're already paying a lot of money to Cole, and they're on the hook to Stanton for a few more years. They need to get some pitching. They need to get a lot of things, and I think you're going to see they're not going to give him the 8 at 40 that he's going to want. Like they're just not. So I think that Judge is gone. It's a mistake because he is one of the best players in baseball, but what have you done for me?
Hitters in baseball.
Yeah. Yes. What have you done? Right. Yeah. And no matter, and if they get rid of Boone, which I don't see them doing, because I can't see the Steinbrenners paying $3 million a year for a guy to not manage. Right.
Well, and that's the other part of the question. Can they get I don't know the names out there that they might want to hire, that the name brand managers per se, that are going to want to come there and says like, okay, so I come there, then I do it my way.
There's not many guys out there, right? Yeah, there isn't. Like Mattingly's not that kind of a guy, I wouldn't think. And what's Mattingly really done as a manager? Like everybody has this affinity for Donnie baseball in the pinstripes, but he hasn't been there in almost 30 years now.
Yeah, he did. Well, right. and he didn't win with the Dodgers.
Like it's been 20.
And then what's he done with the Diamondbacks?
Those are he was right? Miami Marlins.
Oh, Marlins, sorry.
Like it's been 28 years since he donned pinstripes. Like it's time to turn the page from all these guys coming back, and just because they could play, and it's time to maybe get something different. And I don't think that having a guy, if they fire Boone or don't bring him back, and if Cashman's still around, then you're just going to insert manager here, because that's how Boone got the job. Like they're not going to get a guy that's not going to go by the iPad or the binder or whatever. There's a reason why Girardi got let go at the end of his contract in 2017. They were one out. They were they were one inning away from going to the World Series, and then they just didn't renew his contract because he didn't want to go by the binder, right? Which he had a binder of his own. But no, getting rid of managers is one thing, but replacing them is another thing. And if you're just getting another guy to be a yes man to these guys, that's all you're doing.
So, to put a bow on it, disappointed, obviously, because the Yankees didn't go. But now there's a lot more question marks than anything else. Like
they're a worse team right now than they were when spring training opened this season. Like there's a lot more question marks of what can happen and what needs to happen. They need a shortstop. They need a third baseman who can hit. They don't have a left fielder who can hit. That Bader kid's really good. They don't have a closer. They thought Chapman was still the guy. Yes, he was the end of his career. The catcher, yeah, Trevino was really good until the All-Star break, and then he got his All-Star nomination, and he didn't. I don't think got a hit since. Like there's a lot more question marks right now with the New York Yankees than there were at this time last year. Like you think about it, like they lost in 7, they lost in 6, and now they got swept. Their last 3, right? So it's getting worse.
And so like regardless of what happens next season, you're not gonna buy in until this time next year, because either they're going to be in the World Series or not. Like
they're not as good as the Houston Astros. They're not.
That Houston Astros teams.
They're a wagon, man. They're real, and they've gotten rid of players. Like they had Springer and Correa, and they went, "Oh, hey, see you later."
Yeah,
and they still keep going.
Yeah, they're reloading.
Insert minor league guy here. Done.
Jarrett Cole, right? Like
and Cole's gone. And Cole was there at one point, right?
You bet. He was on that World Series.
See ya.
Right. It's just we can't keep them all. Clearly, Houston is doing something right.
You know, and then you got the Jays who are better, and you got the Orioles who are better in the division. So it's she's going to be a tough road in Yankee land, and right now in my head, it's 50-50 whether they sign Judge or not.
Well, I'm going to say this: I don't delight in your misfortune as a fan, but fuck the Yankees.
Thank you for listening to this Belly Up Sports Podcast Network product. Some said we go belly up, so we made it our name, and we're still here.